anything, guys.
Roy, Kenny said you talked to them about the effort not matching the Seminoles the other day. You brought that up after the Wofford game. You brought that up after Wake Forest. Are you seeing improvement in that area at all?
Yes, and you know, I don't think our guys go out there and loaf, you know, but it's around here and all the teams I've coached, I think we set our standards pretty high. And when you're watching tape and you see some things, it's like, gosh, that's not much effort. And then you see somebody on the other team in the same scenario have more effort. I think it's my job to point that out. A lot of old coaches, I guess I'm an old coach now, but a lot of old coaches say that you shouldn't have to coach effort, you should coach execution. And for the most part of my career, that's what I tried to do. Some teams, I don't mind saying this, it wasn't as much fun. Early on, I coached a lot of mine through fear. If you don't do it right, I'm going to run you to death. And that worked. But over the years, as my players all say, I mellowed out. But what I think I did is try to do a better job of making it more important to them right off the bat so they would give you that effort and I didn't have to coach that. But there were some plays that I just think that, that we didn't have as much effort, and some of it is experience too. I mean, we showed one play, and because it's an 81-80 game, there's 50 plays change, you know, we may win the game. And but let's also say they had to miss 2 free throws to make it 81-80. So, but there's one play where a guy comes in and lays it up, and Sterling is standing right there. And the next play, we go down to lay it up, and their big guy blocks the shot. Well, Sterling as a freshman may not have the ability or the instincts, but everybody should have the instincts to get involved. And if I'm standing there, I might, at 5'10 and a half on a good day, I might get my hand up. And so part of it is experience too, but some guys are born with a lot of fire in their belly. Some guys are not, and as coaches, you've got to try to get that fire growing and blowing and burning and all those kind of things a little bit more. But if you look at every play, I don't know, I think we had 80 or 90 possessions, I forget what it was, but there's a lot of plays there that I thought we could have played more with our brain, which is intelligence, and more with our heart, which is effort, both.
When you play them, it's almost always a your way against their way kind of game. How do you try to get them to play your way, and how do you try to beat them at their way? You
know, it's a good question, Joe. I'm thinking when I retire, I hope it's way down the line, but Tony and I need to talk to see what kind of thought processes we're going through before we play each other. I like them to go faster. I think we got them out of their tempo a little bit here last year. And then I think they got us out of our tempo a little bit up there last year, maybe a lot up there last year. I think for us, in the way we play, we always want to run the ball because we want to be able to attack somebody before their defense gets set. And some guys, when their defense gets set, it's not as strong as other people's defense is. So I think that with them, you got to try to push the ball, get the easy baskets because you know you're going to have to really work for a lot of them. And so that makes each possession a little more important. I don't want our guys to be tight and be afraid and whether I should be shooting this shot or not. We want to get shots, don't turn the ball over, get shots, go get the rebound. But yeah, it's a question, and I've said this, I don't even know if Tony, I've never asked him this, I really like him, but I don't know if I've ever asked him because I don't think they control the tempo. I think they just pass the ball until they get exactly the shot they want. And it's a fine line there, but I really don't believe that Tony would mind if a guy came off a screen wide open 6 seconds into the shot clock and shot and it goes in. I don't really think he would mind that. But if somebody's there, they're not going to take that shot. And so I think this is a compliment to him. In my opinion, it's a compliment is that what they do is they get the shot that they all want. And it's what we try to do. We just try to do it at a faster pace kind of thing.
First 11 games, Luke, I believe was averaging about 8 for 14 from the floor. Last 4 games, about 5 for 14. Are teams defending him differently, or is this just a patch that guys go through sometimes?
A little bit of both. I think when you get into conference play, so that's, how many games did you say?
The last 4, it's about 5 for 14.
So 2 of them are conference. One of them's Tennessee that's very good, and I guess it's Wofford. I think Two of them getting into conference play, it's more difficult because you're playing better. Tennessee does a great job defensively. Wofford maybe is out of sync a little bit. I think it's probably too much, in my opinion, a little bit of a small element, but then I'll go with what you said. It's a little bit of both. The guys get to know you a little bit more, the competition level's higher. You guys have heard me say many times that at the end of the year, you look and see those guys whose stats go up when you get into conference play instead of going down. You've really got something special because the competition level's so much higher.
Are you okay with the amount of threes that you guys are taking, or would you like to see them try to work it in a little bit more?
I don't really dictate, a number. I just want to be open. When we had Tyler Hansbrough, Sean May, John Henson, Tyler Zeller, Kennedy, Isaiah, Bryce, you guys have heard me say that I think I'm pretty confident in what I do. So we're going to throw the ball at those guys. Now we got 4 freshmen. That's not the same kind of player in there. Whereas our experience is on the perimeter. I even remember I don't know if we even had a summer press conference, but the first press conference said we got to find out if those guys can give us balance because we know the perimeter guys are a little more effective. So are we throwing the ball inside as much as I want us to? No, because I like to get fouled. But do I want Joel Berry shooting a wide open 3 or throwing it into a guy who's a freshman and doesn't know what town we're in? Excuse me.
On the effort thing, is it a collective thing that everyone has to rise up? Because it seems like it was just a guy or two we'd figure out who you've
Yeah.
identified.
Yeah, even everybody. I mean, I very seldom, and maybe never say anything to Kenny about his effort. And I said, were you surprised by some of the things you saw on the tape? And he's always better than everybody else, so he's probably still better in this game. But he was surprised too. But I think it's my job to point those things out. But Joel and Kenny get up into you defensively better than everybody else does. And they can get up into your space and still not get beat and make it uncomfortable for you. We've got to get the other guys to be able to do that and still not get beat. So, it's a fine line. If I get up too close, coaches, where I'm worried about getting beat, so I can't get beat. So some of the guys are, being concerned a little bit about that. But, you just see somebody on the other team make an unbelievable play, and then you run it back and say, guys, he came from that spot to that spot, and we have somebody at that spot that didn't get to that spot. And so that's part of it too.
Forget my newness, but how do you decide when to play guys? I think you said before, you don't think in terms of lineups, you just kind of do it by sub, and you don't
Yeah.
prepare before the game, like when you're going to
Some,
make moves?
but
or you do?
very little. Try to make sure that, you go back, you look almost every time Jalik is coming to the game, it's within a minute and a half of a timeout. So that if it doesn't work, I've got a timeout, and so still then Joel gets his breather. He may not get breathers of minutes where the clock is running, but he gets his breath. With Cam getting healthy and healthier, hopefully each and every day, things are going to continue to change there as well. One year, Coach Smith got Coach Guthridge to lay it down about, okay, 16 or 12 or 8 or 4, we need to change. Coach Smith frustrated him so much he didn't want to do that anymore. And I've always just gone, this is a statement too, gone by the seat of my pants, but I do know that I want to get everybody in the game in the first half that I might need in the second half. I want them to get some minutes in there. I do know that when I look at the Florida State game and Joel's got 35 minutes and Kenny's got 34 or 35, that's to me is a little bit too much. And because again, I'm looking at a long season, I want them to have their legs, and it also means I'm not giving their backups or those other guys enough minutes. And I think even Kenny's freshman year, I gave him some minutes, and I think that's helped him turn into the player that he is right now. Joel Berry's freshman year, he got some minutes. Some coaches are very comfortable playing 5 or 6 guys. And I'm just not doing that, but there is a pretty big difference between 35 minutes and 5 minutes.
Have you ever consciously thought to yourself, if I don't play this guy, he's going to transfer? Because I think you're the only one who hasn't had a transfer in however many years it's been.
Yeah, we're going to have 13 after this season because you asked that question. I'm going to come see you.
Well, you have a couple seniors, so.
Yeah, we have 2 seniors and 11
But you know what I'm saying? Like, you see
Yeah.
guys who it's a philosophical kind of holistic kind of thought process. But I wonder if you ever even subconsciously even think, man, if I don't get
Yeah.
somebody like you said, Joel or,
Yeah.
or maybe Isaiah those first couple of years, then
No, I've never, I've been surprised. I think I've had 8 transfers in 30 years, I think. The reason I say I think, because I don't know if I'm counting one kid that I told, I said, now you can come, but it's going to be really hard for you to play because you're above your level. And he actually got there, he agreed. So to me, that's hard to count. He was a transfer because I told him.
that was when I told you so.
Yeah. I'll say,
Preemptive.
I'll say, Joe, you're not really good, but I need a warm body if you got to. No, he was a great kid that loved our program, but it worked out. Playing was more important to him than he thought it was. But I think I'm right in 8 transfers. I know I've had 4 in 15 years here, and I think I had 4 in 15 years at Kansas. And one kid transferred, and his family was so upset with him. It was unbelievable. Marlon London, he wanted to go back home to Chicago, and so he transferred back to DePaul. And the next year we played DePaul, and his mom and dad sat behind DePaul's bench with their KU stuff on. So it's so you have some things, but I've really, Joe, have never thought about what am I doing right now? Is that going to make him stay or go? I always feel like grass is greener where I'm standing, and I think I've shown that throughout my entire life. But I want to play guys because they deserve it, because it'll help them long term, because I'm trying to run a program and not just 1 year. Or they're beating the guy out, and it's competition's getting closer and closer and closer. And I had a guy his junior year start every game for us, and then his senior year he started on senior night. And that was hard, but he handled it well. But Paul Pierce was the guy that took his place, and so he beat him out.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's a pretty good player.
Those are all honest conversations you have to have with the kid from the jump, though, right? Like, hey, if you might play 10 minutes, but you play 30 minutes somewhere else.
Yeah,
But
the Wares left, that surprised me. The timing of Larry Drewsdale surprised me, and Alex's did not surprise me. And we had very straightforward conversations with Alex, and I loved him, still love him, kind of thing.
Joel Berry is he's scoring a lot, but his shooting percentage is a little bit down. Do you think obviously he's scoring a lot and has to score for this team. Do you think he's pressing at all or kind of forcing the issue on offense?
What is, you have the one that's got, what's his career for shooting percentage? Is it all the way here? Because the way I'd answer that is that take out 1 for 11 and see what his shooting percentage is this year compared to what it's been in the last.
He's 425 for his career, 42.5 for his career, 39.
39-1 right now.
Okay, so take out 1 for 11, what is he? He's probably 42.5. Yeah, because 1 for 11 the first game, came back from this injury, and I really believe that if you check it, it's probably a lot closer. I worry about a lot of things, but it's not Joel's shot going in. And I think when we talk about it too, it probably puts more stress on it, but that's a smart aleck way of answering, but it's also the way that I look at it. I look down and I say, Joel Berry, 39-1. God almighty, son, why aren't you shooting 83-3? I want him to make every shot, but I do believe that, so make him 80 for 196. 41%, so I don't.
Well, I guess, do you think he feels like he has to score more on this team?
Yeah, I believe so. He doesn't have Bryce, who was the #1 draft choice and was able to get 39 and 23 one game. He doesn't have Marcus, doesn't have Isaiah, doesn't have Justin, doesn't have Kennedy. So I think it's, and I told him, I said, you need to score more. But I don't think there's anything wrong with that either.
Don't get much harder
I'd
in
like him to make all of them, I know that.
Don't get much harder in Tallahassee and Charlottesville back to back. Do you embrace these games early, or is it just it is what it is? You play when you play.
I always just play it when you play them. We've lost first 2 conference games, I think only twice in my 30 years. I think we lost the first 2 conference games, and both times we played we were in the Final Four, so I didn't get too upset about it. Now, if you stink it up, and get me by 50, but I really do try to look at the big picture. And I think this year, we played Duke twice, they're pretty good. Okay, played Notre Dame twice, they're pretty good. We played Clemson twice, is that right? They're pretty good. Who Malik State? State's gonna be fired up to play us after what happened last year. And, you know, the imbalance of the schedule, you know, it's a factor, but can't worry about it.
So it doesn't really matter when you play, whether it's
No.
late February or.
No. The only thing is if you got the key players out, you'd rather play those tough road games and have your key player in. But we won, oh gosh, we lost to Miami here at home and lost at Wake in 2005.
Wake, yes.
Yeah, we were 0-2, and, you know, we ended up okay. Oh, we ended up pretty doggone good. Anybody else, guys?
9.
Did you,
Oh, 9, yeah.
BC and.
That's right, because that's
BC and
when
Wake.
that's when I really put the pressure on Coach Robinson in front of the whole team. I said, Coach Rob, when's the last time we lost our first 2 conference games? I mean, it was 1990, and I asked him that question in 2009. He wanted to know when the statute of limitations on divorce
What are your thoughts on players being able to have a word with an official during a game, like during the dead ball situation, and what kind of maybe respect they might get from the officials?
You know, we all know what you're talking about. I've seen it, Mike, you know, they're not together anymore. PTI, I've seen it, heard it. One guy where the girls on there with 3 or 4.
We're on the horn.
No, it wasn't around the horn, I know that. It was a girl, it was some football player. He went off because he said that you can't let players go talk. I mean, everybody's got an opinion, you know, but it looked bad. I did not see him turn his back on Joel. I saw Joel set the ball down. I told Joel, and Joel's already said this, that I told him, I said, just go over and say, Mr. Ref, you know, I just set the ball down. It's not intended to be any disrespect. And at that time, when I told him that, I hadn't seen what had happened before, and that wasn't right either. And, you know, we've released a statement about it, and people make mistakes. You know, sometimes, I think, I can't remember, but I've had like 19 technicals in 30 years. And 4 of them I didn't deserve at all. I wasn't even mad at the official, but it looked bad enough. And so it didn't look good. I don't think that the intention was there for it to look as bad as it did look. But to answer your question, I think players should be able to go and say something to an official. I do that a lot of times instead of me standing over screaming at a guy, hey, will you watch this? Will you watch this? Hey, I'm talking to you, you dumb bum. You know, I think it's a little more pleasant to say, Marcus, go over and tell the ref, please watch them doing whatever. I don't think there's anything wrong with it, and 99% of the time, I think the officials handle it well, and they would probably rather that happen instead of me calling them a dum-dum, you know, from 40 feet away. But it's unfortunate it happened. It looks bad. It's unfortunate, but you know, it's what it is, and they're both those guys, so competitors, and they'll both go on and be fine. Is that a real good no comment?
Good, thank you.